Thanks, guys. Well, I know we're having a hard time seeing the screen, and I'm wide, so you'll definitely not see it if I stand in front of it. So I know we don't have that much time tonight, so thank everyone for coming. Just a couple people I want to recognize. Of course, you guys. I mean, I could not say anything more about what you guys do. Yeah, I get the clicker and everything. Is it set up for me? Fabulous. All right, so she did say at the end, I am the president of the Associate Board for a Safe Haven Foundation, tonight's benefactor. Brian Rowland's here tonight, one of the founders. Him and Nellie Vasquez Rowland founded this organization not too dramatically long ago, if you look at the impact that they made. So I'm honored to be part of that. And also, I know you have to leave here soon as well, Bill. For those of you guys that never had the opportunity to meet Bill Walsh and learn about taking your brand to the highest level, the gentleman sitting right here is an investor in my firm. I know some of you guys have had the opportunity to spend time with him. Take advantage of more time if you get it. All right, so we're going to go through this quick tonight. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. Who's ever been somewhere where I've spoke? I know there's a bunch of people here. So when they say things like drug addiction and all of that stuff, it's true. I don't know how many people stand in front of you guys. I spent 119 days in jail for being a heroin addict, but I did. And I highly doubt anyone in this room, if they didn't hear it from me, would know that I was a heroin addict. So I started my career in politics when I was 14 years old. Anybody ever start or do anything in politics? Anyone? Yeah, it sucks, right? Andrew, I'm sorry, we're Democrats now, so we're cool, I guess. But I started in Republican Party politics. It's an entirely different ballgame. All the races that we are all pissed off about now are the ones that I did back in the day. And I started when I was 14. My uncle was a big lobbyist in the Republican Party, the Brady Bill, gun rights, all of that. And by the time I was 16, I worked in Congress, 18 Elizabeth Dole and 19 George W. Bush. And between the age of 19 and 25, we won all the races that you could possibly win. My mother got cancer, so I moved back home to Rockford, Illinois, into her basement. Now, there's so many things bad about moving home to Rockford, Illinois, and into your parents' basement, but the cancer thing was pretty bad. But I had my, it was bad, let's be honest. I was like 25. I had my wisdom teeth pulled out. Now, we've all had this done, and we know it doesn't hurt. Okay, you look like a chipmunk for 15 minutes, and you move on with your life, but they give you 2 months of Vicodin. So I did 2 months of Vicodin in 2 weeks. Okay, off the label. I mean, it didn't say it on there, I promise you. And ultimately, I ended up being addicted to opiates for the next 9 months of my life. So more or less what happened was, does this thing work? Well, regardless, we don't care. I'll just talk. Okay, so the next 9 months of my life, I was a day-to-day drug user, $300 a day. Now, I don't care if you're Bill Gates. You can't spend $300 a day on drugs. You can't spend it on anything. And ultimately, I did. And unfortunately, the thing that got me to stop was my mother died of cancer. And the day after her funeral, a judge who was near and dear to my family, he said, listen, this guy's going to die. So he put a $250,000 warrant out for me to go to jail. Now, I don't know if anyone in this room has been to jail before, but it is not a pretty place. And $250,000 is what you get for shooting somebody. And I more or less was arrested for a petty crime. And ultimately, there was nothing really petty about it whatsoever. I was arrested. I stayed in jail for 9 months. During that period of time, my mother's house was foreclosed upon. Everything I owned in my entire life was literally thrown away into a dumpster. And I started over with nothing. I was court-ordered to move to Waukegan, Illinois, and to a halfway house. My dad gave me $500, and I went to Walmart, and I bought a new life. Now, if there's any Walmart employees in the room, I promise you, for $500, you can buy a new life at Walmart. And it was a pretty good one. I even got a really nice bag to pull it all in and moved into this house with 1 week's worth of rent. I had the opportunity to get a job, and my dad said to me, he's like, son, do not get back involved with politics. And you know, he said, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. So the first thing I do, try to get back into politics. I went to the Republicans. You know, I did George W. Bush, all this stuff. The Republicans are like, no, this guy, it looks like he smokes weed or something of that nature. It's no bueno, but the Democrats, they like threw a party to enter me into this organization. So thank you, Andrew, for opening the door for the Democratic Party. Now I'm honored to say that I work with people like Andrew Hill at the highest level of the Democratic Party. We just got our president reelected. So for the Democrats in the room, thank you for that. For the Republicans, I'm sorry. Moving on. So ultimately, I started this company that I have right now. Okay, so when I got the job in Democratic Party volunteering, I also got a job as a waiter. Now, it's a little bit different than working for the president, being a waiter, but you often learn how to sell people wine and all the skills that you need to do business. And I got fired from every single waiter job because I told people how I wanted to start a marketing firm. I wanted to start a PR firm, and I wanted to change the world. And can you imagine having somebody serve you dinner rolls, telling you how he met 5 presidents, all this stuff? You're thinking he's on drugs right then. There's no question about it. So I was fired from every waiter job I did. And ultimately, one of the places decided to hire us back to do a marketing event. So my girlfriend and I started a little marketing firm. We downloaded all the illegal softwares for Adobe, made the little flyers. The place fits 100 people. We had 372 people lined up outside the door. It was a success. So we did a bunch of restaurants in the North Shore, and ultimately a plastic surgeon called and he said, Chris, if you can do this for restaurants, you can do it for plastic surgery. Now, it's not directly related, but I made it related, so we did, and we were very successful. Now, that girl and I broke up at that point. Now, if anybody does business with their husband or wife, like directly, you own it together, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to maintain when you broke up. So I kept one client, the plastic surgeon, and I started over yet again. So I took this one client and started the current firm I own right now in a child's bedroom in Evanston, Illinois. Now, the child wasn't living in there. That would be horribly awkward. But even the fact that I started a business in a child's bedroom is awkward in the first part. And we took that one client, and I promise you this, guys, that one client helped us get 2 more, and now we're the fastest growing communication strategy firm in the world. And we worked with over 700, just in medicine alone, that one doctor turned into 400 clients that we worked with around the country. I don't believe in public relations the same way other people believe in public relations. I am sick and tired of people talking about PR and what their brand does to get cool street credit. Public relations is about one thing. It's about relating to the public. And if you guys cannot relate to the public, then you don't deserve to have PR. Public relations, in my definition, is about creating news, not just talking about things. And that's why I'm here. My goal is to change the way public relations is done. I've never taken a public relations class in my life. And if you read the first draft of my press releases, you would verify it. But ultimately, I know this. Public relations is an industry that's attached to every other industry. And I figured that if I change this industry for the better, I'll change all of them. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my philosophy. Mind you, I started this company with $140. Now I have people that invest in my firm like Bill Walsh. Okay, there's not a better venture capitalist in this country than Bill Walsh. There's not a better leadership instructor than Bill Walsh, and it's because we do things for the right reasons. So many people focus on their brand about how many sales they get, how much money they make, how many iTunes downloads. Life is not about celebrating our victories. It's about reacting to our failures. And the only difference between you and I is that I've reacted to my failures. I've had a lot more, okay, than most of you guys have. But I promise you this, if you stick with that, it'll change the way you think. We look at things different. I have a book that's coming out in March called Core Brand Values. And Core Brand Values, to me, is about how your brand can make an impact. Every brand, from Ron's company, Jordan, all the things that you do, everybody in this room can make an impact. That's the kind of PR you want. Core is an acronym. First thing it stands for is concept. Second thing it stands for is offer. There we go. Is that work or is this not? I'm just clicking, huh? I'm burning calories when I click this, right? Does that count? Cool. All right, I'm on a weight loss program, thank you. So anyways, CORE stands for concept, offer, relationships, exposure. You can just go to the next one. I want to give you guys just a couple examples of how we think in our office. I am the president of the associate board for a safe haven, so we do a lot of cool activities, and we always tie things into charity. So I'm going to tell you about how we created a brand recently because you'll find it interesting. You can just go through until you see like some sort of picture. This explains concept. I'll send this to you guys. Email me, fax me, whatever people do. Go on to just one more, right there. So I had a client I met in a room similar to this. This guy comes up to me, and he says, first of all, he's whispering while he's talking to me. And I'm loud. I'm Italian. It's built in, you know. So he's whispering, and he said, Chris, I would love to talk to you. Now, he was writing everything down, looked like a reporter. And I'm like, well, what is it that you do? And he tries to tell me he's the quiet marketer. Now, I've never heard of a bigger oxymoron in my life, right? I force people out of their boxes, like I will do with all of you when you come into my office and we sit down and talk. This guy encourages people to stay inside their box, but still makes money off of it. I don't even understand it, but it was really neat. So he says, Chris, I want to do a meeting. So I thought it was about that. So he comes into my office with a plastic circle with 2 big rubber bands on it. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but it's very interesting. Looks like he made it in the car on the way. So I'm sitting there, and he was telling me about Crohn's disease. Anybody know what Crohn's disease is? Gastroparesis? Anything where you have to have your colon removed. Unfortunately, those people are plagued with having to go to the bathroom in a colostomy bag. Okay, we've seen it before. People have a hole in the side, and they're going to the bathroom into a bag. I cannot begin to tell you how inconveniencing that is in life. People can't work anymore. I have a friend that cuts hair. She can't cut hair anymore because we all know the result if it doesn't stay on your body. So he said, Chris, my friend, my best friend, we should do everything together. He said, I can't do anything with him anymore. He can't move around. He has his bag on his side. And I made this invention to help secure the bag to your body. And I had somebody in my graphics design team kind of put this together. But if this is a fit body, okay, you can see how it is, and the bag would be hanging off that. Does this thing support weight? Okay, it's going to tonight. So ultimately, we had that, we drew up this drawing. So I said this. You can go to the next slide. He said he wanted to call it stoma support. Now, there are words in the English language that you just don't want to use in everyday conversation, and stoma is definitely one of them. Can you imagine being the post office guy? You're delivering a box, stoma support, and you're just looking at that. You're like looking on the side, you're trying to see what it just didn't make sense. So then me, I'm the branding expert on the news all the time for this, that, and the other. I came up with the idea of confidence support. That's better. You're giving people their life confidence back. And I'm not a graphic designer, but this is what I came up with, and let's be honest, it's kind of whack, right? But I'm not a graphic designer. That's what I came up with. So I had this intern in the office at the time. His name is Danny. And if we work with each other, you'll probably meet him. He's an employee now. He said, Chris, my brother has Crohn's disease. He cared about something. He said, I would love the opportunity to call my brother right now and find a way to make this make more sense to the people that have it. And I said to him 2 things, Danny. Do not change the name. The client approved it. It's hard to get people to approve things. I bet you went through tons of stuff making your logo and stuff, Ron. It's hard, right? And then I said, don't change the color, because it was purple. I like purple. I convinced the client purple's the way to go. So we were sold. So I come back upstairs. You can go to the next one. And what I saw, probably won't. What I saw on the screen was this, okay, OBI support. It's all black and white. And I'm pissed, okay? I'll be honest. I'm like, you know, he violated everything I said in a matter of 5 minutes, okay? Then he said to me, he's like, Chris, don't worry. Confidence is in there. It's literally 1 pixel color or whatever, 1 Pantone color darker than white. So you can't see it. And then he said, Chris, don't even worry. You can go to the next one. He's like, I kept it purple. Right? So in the purple, he thought he'd barter and remove the word confidence for me. Either way, it was kind of an issue. And then I asked him, I said, First I asked him, what the hell is that word? He said, Chris, it's Obi. And I'm like, you know, the first thing I think of is Star Wars. We've all seen it, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And, you know, right? But that actually matters here. Go to the next slide. What he began to tell me is that when you're a ninja, any ninjas in the room, completely based around what your passions are, what you care about. I do have the honor to stand all over the country and give motivational speeches, this, that, and the other. But this group of people here tonight is here because they care about branding, they care about business, they care about making an impact. My favorite thing is not standing in front of you. I love volunteering with you guys on the streets. We're going to whip through a couple more slides. Does the button work now? We'll whip through a couple of these because I want to show you something pertaining to a safe haven that we did. Gosh, what is my problem? Isn't that unbelievable? Okay, and I'm in charge with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets and stuff, so please don't discourage it. I'll tell you about something we're doing right now that's quite interesting. All my staff's not here tonight. You guys all know about the Mayan calendar, okay? We're involved with something right now that is going to be bringing a relic that has been lost that's going to help interpret this to the entire world, and you'll hear about it on Monday. Nobody in this room knows about it. It is one of the craziest things that you could ever possibly see, and it's going to change the world on Monday, and we are handling the public affairs. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you about right now is something that we did recently. How many of you guys like parking in Chicago? Anybody happy about paying the money for parking in Chicago? All right? You're crazy. Okay? The parking meters are a client of mine. The parking garages are a client of mine. And when I first got and started this business, I wanted to find the most controversial thing in the city of Chicago, parking. And I wanted to take them on as a client. Every other PR firm says, you're crazy, Chris. You're absolutely crazy. Right now, to park downtown, it costs you $300 a month to park. Whatever, I'm not using more. $300 a month to park. I don't care if you spend $5 a month for parking or if you spend $3,000 a month for parking. In Chicago, you're going to be pissed off. Okay? No question. Nobody's going to dispute that. So what I needed to do is I need to find a way to make parking meters cool. Now, it's not like you can give somebody, or parking spaces cool. It's not like you can give somebody an extra foot and they're going to be happy like first class. It's not like you can stand out there and give them hot chocolate in the window when they pull into their spot. It just doesn't work. So what I needed to do is I needed to make people forget that they spent $300 a month on parking. Okay? So what I did is this. I sent out a survey to all the people that park at that monthly rate. And I asked them what they spend their money on every single month. And one of these people could have been brands that you guys have here. So you get replies back, you know, shopping, food, babysitting, gym memberships, etc. So what I did is my team put together a list of who are the mover shakers in this industries that they are identifying. We reached out to them. You get free haircuts at State Street Barbers. You get a $100 gift card to Park Grill. You get babysitting service, Bally's half price, Sprint, 30% off your cell phone. All of these things added up to about $750 worth of stuff. Now I promise you guys, if they stop paying $300 a month for parking, they're back spending $750 on things that they spend their money on anyway. They forgot they paid for parking. We're taking this to the meters coming up this upcoming year. I promise you guys are going to thank me for this. And I'll make sure there's cool things. So those are the type of ways I think about. I want to tell you about one more thing because I know our time is short. I'll keep this one quick. So we can go to the next one. I'm afraid to touch it. I don't know what my problem is. So my fingers or something. Relationships are the key to the world, guys. You don't need big marketing budgets to get your job and getting your business started. How many of you guys have startup businesses? When I mean startup, you make less than, well, you guys know what startups are, right? Okay, so the big problem is everybody comes to me like, Chris, you know, I hear you're $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, whatever these outlandish things people say. I know there are people in the room right now that have said, Chris Foltz is full of hot air. Well, I'm not, and you're going to see what we do. Relationships are the key to the world. You don't need a marketing budget if you have relationships. One of the things that we did recently was with the Safe Haven Foundation. If you guys are not involved with the Safe Haven, I implore it. Not only was I homeless, not only was I a drug addict, if it wasn't for people like a Safe Haven, I wouldn't be standing here alive to you guys today, right? So they had their run to end homelessness. Some of the people in the room participated. Andrew, your trophy's at my office for winning your age group. I claim that it's mine, okay? So anyways, they had this 5K. It's the second one. The first time that they did the 5K, it brought in $40,000 in a morning. I don't care who you are, that is impressive. In a couple hours, $40,000 the first annual. We got involved with it as a brand, and we wanted to kind of mix things up a little bit. We wanted to show people that not only is it cool to give back to charity, but we want to have fun along the way, and we wanted to build relationships with people that matter to make sure everybody knows about it. So the second one, we got involved 62 days ahead of time. So I sat down with Nellie Vasquez-Rowland. She was just named the Chicagoan of the Year. And we said, this is our plan of action. We're going to build some relationships with cool people. And I want to do an event. So I'm going to tell you guys how for $35 we got on the national news. Okay, I don't care who you are. You guys can probably shake $35 worth of change out of your pockets. But if your brands want to get on the national news, this is how we did it for $35. Anybody ever seen Millionaire Matchmaker, the show on TV? Chelsea Autumn, Executive Vice President of Matchmaking for the show. She's a client of mine in LA. I knew she was going to be in town upcoming for a wedding in Chicago. So I said, listen, Chelsea, I am going to call the coolest hotel in town. At that point, it was the Wit. I'm going to get them to donate a space. I'm going to sign up for a run team, and I'm going to put cool people on it. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is the Wit donated their space. Tequila Avion. Anybody ever drink Tequila Avion from Entourage? We work with them as well. It is a real beverage. A lot of people don't realize that. We had them donate all the liquor. And then I built a host committee. Now, when you guys do events, these ladies do events better than anyone in the city of Chicago. There's no question about it. When you do events, I know Bill Walsh is good for this. He builds one of the best rosters of speakers you can have in a room. You cannot go to a Bill Walsh event and not know something more than when you came. No question about it. Same thing when we do events. I put cool people on the list. You can go to the next slide, wherever that is. There's a Safe Haven. We'll go another one. What buttons you hit? What in God's name is wrong with me? There we go. You guys see that? That's cool. I got it to work. All right? So what we did is this. We wanted to create exposure. Oh, that's why. Your computer's right there. So we leveraged the relationships we made. First thing we did was we obviously signed up for the run team. Secondly, we planned an event at the WIT. So I put cool people. Lisa Lockwood was on the host committee, Whitney Reynolds, Nellie Vasquez-Rowland, Corey Fettman, the Love Lawyer, just a bunch of cool people. Cesar Rowland, Latino Fashion Week, Vince Lawrence, Invented House Music. The list goes on. All of this stuff was donated. I got Whitney Reynolds to do a live taping at the show for Weekends with Whitney. And I brought Chelsea Autumn, and we called it Perfectly Matched. I know a lot of people were here. I think, Monica, were you there as well? A lot of people were in the room. That event right there raised several thousands of dollars because all the money that came into this event went directly to my run team. For one moment, we were the #1 fundraiser for a Safe Haven. It made me look like a hero in the running industry. Now, for somebody that's never really ran in my entire life, this particular event, in the same period of time this year, raised $150,000. Okay? This event, which the year prior had just a few hundred people there in general, 750 runners, 2,000 attendees at the Safe Haven Run to End Homelessness, and we did the 5K run in one of the most homeless-riddled neighborhoods in the city of Chicago in Douglas Park. So we brought people, the people that run for fun. There's a whole group of people that run for fun in life. We brought all these people down to this Run to End Homelessness, and it's now the fastest-growing run in the city of Chicago. We took some pictures from the event. We had a run team, and I'll close with this next slide. I'm going to close with this. By the way, I'm having my first marathon, a 0.5K marathon. My company is sponsoring it. It may be funny. It may be funny to you. You'll be in it. Okay? A 0.5K marathon we're doing in the first quarter of next year. I want people with wheelchairs, people that couldn't even walk. I want them to cross the finish line for the first time ever, okay? I'm serious about it. 0.5K is literally from here to the back of the room. I'm sure you can even do it, Jimmy. You could probably make it up here, right? Okay, good. I'm going to tell you about one last thing, and it's the dumpster guitar, and we're going to close with this. A lot of people have come to my office here, and they see this guitar hanging up the wall with all these signatures on it. You know, it looks like something you get off eBay with a Bruce Springsteen fan or something of that nature. This is my deal. When you have a good idea as a brand, first of all good ideas start manifesting themselves within 24 hours. The moment they hit that 25th hour, your creativity drops on the project. So keep that in mind. I had an idea. I come downstairs, and I'm a hoarder. You guys have all seen the TV show. I collect everything. It's probably because when I was in jail, my mother's house was foreclosed upon, and everything I owned was literally thrown in the dumpster, so I started over with nothing. And my girlfriend's here tonight, too. I mean, I call them antiques, but they're really just things from the trash. I mean, like I have dressers and stuff from the trash. I repaint them. They look good. We have creative projects. She gets mad. It is what it is. Okay, even in my office. So I had an idea. I come downstairs, and in my dumpster, there was a guitar. It looked like one of those Esteban ones from TV. Dirty. I thought if I touched it, I'd get tetanus, but I still grabbed it. Brought it into my office. I had a motivation. I wanted to prove to people that I could take something from the garbage and do something positive with it, because it reminded me of my life. You know, literally, I was in the garbage. I was in jail. All right, that's whack. All right? I had a motivation. Secondly, and the most important, or third most important thing to the equation is I wanted to give back. I wanted to do something with this guitar to make an actual impact for people and then tell the story about it so they can relate. So what that equals was exposure. What I did with this guitar is I wrote a blog about it. The blog was syndicated, I mean, hundreds of thousands of times. It was called Dumpster Guitar. And it was all about hoarding for a cause. I went and I started having people sign this guitar. Christina Koren, anybody know Christina Koren? One of the best fashion designers in the city of Chicago. The list just goes on. Now there's even more. Jennifer Christensen, we probably all know, a lot of us know her. Whitney Reynolds, Jane Manzuris. I can go on forever with the people that have signed this guitar. I'm auctioning this guitar off at my 0.5K marathon. I promise you this guitar will bring probably $5,000 to $10,000 for charity. So I promise you this, I don't care what is going on in the economy. I don't care what's going on in your businesses or what trials and tribulations you have. I started my company with $140. The last $140 in my name. The first 12 months of my brand, we brought a grand total of $12,000 in. And then after that, we brought in a lot more. Because instead of going after every single client, nobody in this room has enough money to go after everything. Nobody has enough time to do all of that. You need to build relationships with people that already have your audiences. Build relationships with people that already have the type of clients you want. And you need to build relationships that matter. If you ever want to have the opportunity to sit down and even do a consultation with me, I promise you I'll give it to you for free if you come in and explain to me what your give back model is. Okay? And Bill Walsh can attest to this. Bill's a $30,000 an hour speaker. Okay? That's a lot of money. Bill, how many scholarships did we give out to veterans this year to your programs? A lot. Okay? And how many times have I called you up and said, Bill, I want you to do a consultation with somebody, and then you ask me, what do they do for service? And when I tell you what they do, if they do something charitable, do you not answer the phone? That's what matters, guys. If you want to have the opportunity with me, come to me with what you guys are doing to give back, and I'll tell you how you're going to take your brand to the next level. That's what public relations is about. And I want you guys to join me in changing the way the world thinks. That's all I got. Thank you.